that's a great question, and my hat's off to you for driving into DC every day. When I was at the end of my 20 in the Marines, I was offered a job up at ONR and in the Pentagon, and looking at an hour-and-a-half commute each way every day, I said no. Oh yeah. Well, I'm a Marine, so I would have done it at like 3 a.m. It's a Marine thing.
Traffic was like
But yeah, people get out of my way. But light rail, I think, would be a real exciting opportunity for us. What most folks don't know is that there are rail right-of-ways all the way down to the base. And in fact, if you go down to Gate 1 to the pass and tag office, if you stand there, you can look and you can still see the rails. So they still exist. And if you look at Google Maps, if you do the satellite view, I'm a geek, what can I tell you? If you look at the satellite view, you can actually see the rail right-of-ways. They've been encroached on a little bit, but they still do exist and they could be turned back on. But that would not be an inexpensive option. I think we're probably looking at a lot of buses is probably going to be the best way to help commuters that are moving up there in large numbers. The real challenge, though, is that you got to find the money in the budget to make those kinds of things happen. And right now, the state doesn't make St. Mary's County and doesn't make our commuter issues a priority, because they don't have to, because no one's up there working on it. And what we need is we need passionate legislators that are going to go up there and fight for those resources to make these things happen down here for us, because we do know there's a ton of people in your shoes that are living here, they're choosing to live here, just like I chose to live here. You know, I brought my wife and my kids back here because of the schools and because of the environment, the same reason everyone else did. But we got to have legislators that are going to be passionate to go up there and try to find those options and make things happen. Certainly in concert with the county commissioners and the growth plan in Southern Maryland, because we want to keep the rural character of the area. So.
You stood up first. Guys, we can't afford it. Right now, we can't afford it. If we try to build a new span of the bridge, it'd be $800 million today. By the time they get around it, it'll be $1 billion. That's what the B. So everyone says, hey, let's cut taxes, we're going to throw our slings and arrows in the back row. That ain't going to work. We got to go up there as a group with the local county commissioners and the state delegation and work. Put St. Mary's County first. We can't put a party policy first. We got to put St. Mary's County first. And when we go up there and articulate our position, we're probably not going to get a light rail. We can't afford it. There's not enough right-of-ways. There's just not enough cash flow. But what we can do is we can improve what we have. We can take, like FDR Boulevard. It's not in my district, but it's a wonderful situation to alleviate the pressures on Route 235. There's other feeder roads we can put in Charlotte Hall, so Route 5 is not just a miserable train wreck. But we got to be smart about it. We can't just argue and say, hey, we'll give you whatever you want, and then argue we need to cut all these taxes. We want to cut taxes to make this a place we can afford to live, afford to work, and afford to retire. We have to set our priorities, and right now I don't think we can say light rail is a priority. We have to fix the commuter system we have. We just can't afford it. That's not the popular answer here. I understand that, but it's the truthful answer. Okay? And unless we want to raise taxes to raise that revenue, we're not going to do it. They're talking about putting one in Charles County. You know, if you lived around a light rail station, people aren't a big fan of those who live around there. They don't want them in their backyard. So then we have to decide where to put it. Because what goes up to DC, sometimes, unfortunately, bad things come back.
Nobody's going to climb off the light rail with a large TV, though.
I've seen it. I lived in Baltimore. I was in law school. You'd be surprised what you see.
I ride the metro and the bus every day. There's nobody carrying large.
I know, but one of the...
I agree. Lawyers are shifty people, and they can do all sorts of things.
I'll say this, okay? We got to set priorities, and that can't be one of our priorities. I hate to tell you that. We got to focus in on education. You're saying transportation. We got to fix the systems that's broken. That's a private enterprise. Get a better company in there. Let's look at the private sector. Get a better company that aren't going to have all these failing buses. Stop using the buses that fail. Let a private business come in there and another one and give you better service. But if we want to have the best schools possible, I hate to say it that way, we got to focus in on what's important. And transportation is important. We're working on it hard. But education is probably our primary issue right now here, because our children are our greatest resource, and we need to focus in on them, giving them a better chance to succeed. And you can always say, hey, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to cut taxes. Well, where are you going to cut them? And then give us $1 billion in transportation money to fix the bridge, to give us a new bridge. We can't do it. So we got to determine what's more important, a bridge over to, on Route 4 or a light rail system. Currently, $7.5 billion comes through the base. That's priority number one. We'll have to fix the bus system. I apologize, I can't tell you we're going to give you pie in the sky. It's not like I got a Republican, it sounds like Democrats over here. But we got to focus it on the right choices. And the right choice now is that let's focus on the light rail. We can't afford it. We'd be sacrificing too much. We got to focus on what's important, and education is most important.
Wow, I stood up to answer a transportation question, man. So let me first address this bombs from the back row. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, because when you drop bombs, it normally destroys stuff. And what the Democratic Party has done the last couple of years is destroyed this economy. 6,500 jobs. Where can we cut budget? Because we talked about, well, we don't have any money. So first, let's talk about where we cut. I don't think we have any reason why St. Mary's County tax dollars are being used to fund $250,000 drug needle exchange program, or why we're legislating common sense and rewarding bad behavior by funding a $350,000 program to tell adults what food they should and shouldn't eat. I think we can probably save $140 million by not funding a Baltimore County jail, or Baltimore City jail rather. Let Baltimore City pay for their own jail just like the other 23 jurisdictions do. Why we pay $300 million for money managers, Wall Street money managers, to maintain or to manage a teacher's pension when we used to pay them $62 million, but we uncapped the fees. Now we pay more in management fees than we actually collect in contribution rates for that the teacher's pension fund. So there's plenty of places to cut. But to answer your question directly about the light rail, remember 2009, the shovel-ready jobs? We had a traffic study for that. And the answer wasn't light rail, it was commuter rail coming from Hughesville over the CSX lines that are coming from Chalk Point. And basically what they found, it would cost about $1.8 billion to upgrade those rail systems to beat traffic up to Bowie was the exchange point that they were looking at. So there's been a study about it. It's on the book. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Absolutely not. It would be the dream.
So the county has it. You were talking here. So we have, the county commissioners have a little bit of different resolution. What we want to do is build job growth down here. So you don't drive to Washington, D.C.